Dark and delusional, dark and delusional, dark and delusional, dark and delusional.
So, here we are. Tonight's a very good topic. It's about ghosts.
Yes.
And, we are gonna explore the whole concept of ghosts. My name's Pillsbury. I'm your host.
I'm Dutch Darity.
Dutch Darity. You're gonna go by Dutch, because I'm not gonna remember Darity the whole podcast. Anyway, yeah, I mean, if you believe in ghosts, then you believe in life after death, right? Because something has to die to become a ghost. So I think we're going to start by defining exactly what we think a ghost is. What are we talking about when we're talking about ghosts?
Well, hang on. What fake name am I supposed to call you by?
What? Pillsbury.
Pillsbury.
Like the Pillsbury Doughboy?
So I know you're interested in this types of subject. When did you first realize you're like, oh, like I kind of care about, like, when did you first realize it's like this is a subject that you hold heart in?
Huh.
Like,
Probably
was it like a weird experience that you had?
It was the same time Ghost Adventures came out on TV, and I was all in since then. No, I've always, I mean, even when I was a kid, I've always believed in like spirits and stuff. So like the concept of like a ghost or a haunting like wasn't like too far out of my realm, because like I already believe like in spirits. I don't believe that they often come back like that, but we'll get to that when we get to my definition of what a ghost is.
Oh, so you're asking me like what I think it is?
Like what do you think a ghost is, or do you think it's multiple things?
I don't know. Like, I've had like too many weird, unexplainable incidents happen. But no, like I honestly like, I don't know. Like, I just always had a weird fascination with the paranormal, and it wasn't until like I had a few experiences and a few encounters where I really was interested in, okay, like, what the fuck is this? Like, am I crazy? Is this something real? Like, I have no idea. And I don't know. Like, a couple theories that I've researched and came across was, there's this theory called the stone tape theory that I think holds a lot of weight. Do you know about the stone tape theory?
No, but I wonder if it's similar to something I think already, because it sounds like it. Because pretty much what I think a ghost is like, obviously I think there's like multiple levels of spirits, but I think most ghosts, like a haunting, like a general haunting, I think like when we die, we don't all go to the next place. A piece of us that was our earthly personality kind of dies with us with this earth, and if your personality has like a certain amount of resentment or whatever, I think that's what causes a haunting.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. And also, like, just anything ghost related, I just can't help but, like, completely fucking buying into. It's pathetic. It's pathetic because, like, I'm not a religious man. Like, people are like any organized religion I cannot buy into. Any sort of, like, Buddhism or...
Well, Buddhism's not religion. It's actually philosophy.
Okay, you can get big brained on your own podcast, making me look dumb.
No, I'm just saying that was
I know.
When I went to school for religion, that it was like a teaching point. Now, but that's separate. You know, Buddhism's its own thing. It's a religion and a philosophy.
What school? School of religion?
I was studying religion when I was at Central.
Community college?
No, I went to Central Michigan University, dude.
What does that mean?
It's a college.
Oh.
I went there. I attended as a student. I went to college before I hated it and quit. Dropped out.
Well, I never went to college, so maybe you are smarter than I. But anyway. Alright, so I was extremely fascinated with the paranormal at a very young age, and one theory that I think...
Like, you were just always fascinated. Like, you never had like a moment in time. Like it was like you always liked it, or did something happen? You're like, I love ghosts now.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything like specifically happened to me, like to like ignite my interest. I just always, I don't know, like for some reason, like residual energy and like.
That's a good word. Like residual, that's what it is. That's what I think it is. Like I really think it is residual energy for most part. Like I do think there might be some really dark shit out there if you go and fucking look for it too, but for the most part I do think it's like a residual energy that's left over. Kind of repeats actions and things that maybe it did.
Yeah, okay, alright, so but no, it wasn't until I heard, I don't know, I was super fascinated with ghosts and spirits and the paranormal. Even before I ever had my first paranormal experience, and I stumbled upon some, like a reason. I needed a reason to know why, like, stuff happens. And
Like, why paranormal stuff happens, or, like, everything in general?
I mean, dude, if I had the answer for why everything in general happens,
Yeah,
I'd be a fucking billionaire.
Good point.
No, we talking about the dead, motherfucker. Like, we talking about, like, shit we can't explain. And everyone's interested in that. I don't care who you are. Like, everyone's interested in what happens after you die. And if your ghost gets
Even if you're an atheist. If you're an atheist, you're just trying to be the counterculture on this shit.
Yeah, and I'm a super atheist.
Yeah, you really are. But you can't be completely if you believe in ghosts. You must believe something happens when you die.
I know, that's why ghosts...
You're this piece of shit counterculturist I'm talking about right fucking here, dude.
I know. That's why, like, yeah, like, I call myself an atheist, but then when I recall my experiences with, like, all these weird things and these weird theories is why I'm like, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I really don't know.
No, atheist is the wrong term, dude. There's better terms than that. If you're atheist, you're, like, denying it. Like, you're just denying. You would be denying ghosts, too. If you were truly an atheist, you'd be denying ghosts. You're more like, I don't know what the fuck happens, right? Because nobody really does. But you more of like, you have no idea, and there's no way you can actually understand it because nobody can understand it.
Yeah, like, I think that if you honestly think you know what happens when you die, I think you're a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm not going to take that out.
Okay. But, like, it's true, though. It's like, dude, you've never died. I've never died.
Well, there are people that die and come back, and they have these near-death experience. A lot of people, and they all say different shit, too. So if you're one of those people, I think you're the only other you're not a douchebag. You're excluded from this conversation.
Yeah, I know. Anyone that's had, like, near-death experiences are like, oh, I saw
7 heart attacks and brought me back to life,
7 heart attacks?
It was just an example. No, but I don't know if this has ever happened. I'm sure it's happened somewhere.
If you've had 7 heart attacks, you're doing 7 things wrong.
At least 7 things wrong.
That's not natural.
I do know there are instances, like there are some near-death experiences where a person like dies and resuscitated like multiple times in a row.
For sure, yeah.
The 7 was probably a bit excessive of the
7 times
example there.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
yeah. I don't know, like I said, I'm not a religious person, but when it comes to ghosts and paranormal stuff, it really makes me question faith or like what I'm supposed to believe in. I don't know, because I've had weird experiences. Okay, so
wait, hang on. Before we go any further, we mentioned the stone tape theory.
Yeah.
So we probably should say that before we forget.
Yeah, you originally asked me, like, okay, like, what are some of your, like, theories on why this exists?
Right.
And there's a few points that I think are super interesting. Which also, I never heard about this until also Ghost Adventures.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where we got our start.
Yeah,
it was all because of Ghost Adventures.
And an episode of Ghost Adventures informed me of something called the stone tape theory. And basically, what the stone tape theory is okay. So this room that we're in right now, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Oh, god damn it. God, I'm fucking pills Berry, like
Pillsbury.
yeah, Pillsbury, not Pillsbury. That'd be trademark. Pillsbury, like pills and berries together.
All right, so and same as same as you, Pillsbury. The first time I ever heard about this theory was on Ghost Adventures. And it's a really good theory, though, because, like, let's imagine in this room that we're sitting in right now, let's say the wood in these walls and the stone that falls beneath it, if I just, like, up and murdered somebody in this fucking room violently, or mess with someone...
Put the knife away.
No, I'm just saying, like...
No,
So the stone tape theory is basically like energy can get stored within these walls
like the energy of that event.
of just vibes.
Oh, just vibes. All right.
Because have you ever walked into a room and just like felt uncomfortable?
Actually, one of my ghost stories for later is along those lines. Yeah. So like you just walk in, and you feel like an oppressive, negative energy in a certain. Yeah, dude, that's a very real thing, and that's happened to me multiple times in my life. But there's one that really stands out. But we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, so that whole thing, like, I think that's the stone tape theory of, like, even if you're in a room and you don't see anything or hear anything, but you just feel ugly. There's a very such thing of, like, walking into a room and feeling fucking ugly. And that's what I think the stone tape theory is. Because if some, like, traumatic events or anything happen in a room, stone and wood and paneling, like, they just, like, absorb that negative, because that energy has to go somewhere.
Right. I mean,
it doesn't fly out the fucking
especially
chimney.
for something like that extreme, right? Like, I mean, like, not being grim here, but I've never visited the 9/11 site. Like, I wonder if people, like, feel that way when they're, like, on a site like that as well, or did that just happen so fast that no negative energy was stored, or because the tower's gone that there's no energy, like, nowhere to store the energy?
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I've never been to 9/11 either.
No, the site, bro. Not yet. None of us were there. The site, like, where it happened. But that was just an example of, like, something.
Well, like, you ever take a walk through a graveyard? You ever do that?
We have a story for later about that.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Am I allowed to say shit? But no, yeah, that's...
Hey.
But also, I believe in, like, weird coincidences, which I know that me and you have shared together. Like, so what do you think about... Where are you at with, like, the existence of ghosts and coincidences?
Here I am with the existence of ghosts. I think it can happen by extremely improbable chance. Like, you happen to go to one of these, like, stone tape theory places. Like, you walk into a negative space, that's unavoidable, and you probably won't choose to go back, right? Those kind of places. But mostly, I feel like to have those experiences, you have to actively seek them out. I believe we don't have to experience those things. If someone ain't looking for it, 9 times out of 10, it ain't gonna happen. You know, it's the people that go out there and really attract. They don't manifest this shit. I think this shit already exists, but I also think you kind of have to go looking for it. And I'm not talking like Ghost Adventure style. Go looking for it. Like, you have to actually be like, you know, spending like every day, just fucking like trying to have these experiences, and that, like all things paired. That's what I believe. But I also believe that sometimes on an off chance, like, it will happen to randomly, even if, that's why you have people like, I never believed in ghosts until
I came face
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So but I think it's it does not happen that often at all. Like that. Most people who are having paranormal experiences are actively seeking them. That's what I think.
You think, yeah, and that's another weird, so, alright, let's say you're driving down, how to say, like, roads that were, like, around
during the podcast.
Alright, well, my name's Dick Darity, and one night I was driving down County Line.
Yeah.
You know, you're driving down County Line.
Wait, are you talking about the County Line by us? Or is this just an example?
Nope, it was a made-up spot. Forget I even brought watered up.
No, dude, county line. You know how many county line roads?
Yeah, okay, yeah, county line.
That's like like our county line, right?
Yeah,
I want to know. I'm being legit here with being anonymous, bro.
But like, you know how you're driving down a back road late at night and you're looking for deer,
Right.
and you're like, "Fuck, is that a deer? Is that a deer?" And every time like you see a tree stump, that's a deer. That's a deer. But it never happens. So yeah, I know what you mean. When you walk into a negative space, you're like, okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna hear.
Right. It really it gives you a type of anxiety that puts you on edge when you enter these negative spaces. I think
It's the ones that catch you off guard, where it's hard to explain. But like, I've had too many like weird little situations happen. Stuff.
Well, why don't we let's just get into an example here. Why don't you share one of these? Let's start sharing personal experiences.
Okay, I can tell you one.
Is this the one you haven't? The new one?
No, it's not the most recent one that happened to me, but it's the most profound one that I've ever seen.
Oh no shit! All right, well lay down kind of how old you were and the whole situation.
Man, I was fully.
But if they pay $5 for Patreon, they get to hear you.
$5 Patreon. You can hear me being extra stupid. No, seriously though. So have you told the story of Morrow Road on the?
No, man. This is like the first legit episode. Should we do Morrow Road before we get into our own stories?
Well, I have a Morrow Road story.
Oh, you do? All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's do that one first. I'm just gonna give a brief. There's a road by us. It's called Morrow Road. Extremely haunted, and a bunch of people have had experiences on it. But pretty much, there's this urban legend that a lady her baby ends up dying, and then or something along those lines, and she haunts the road. People have seen lights. There's this thing you do where you shut off your car, honk your horn 3 times, put your keys on the hood.
Yeah.
Someone comes out of you. Talk about going back to what I said about people who have paranormal experiences actively search for one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously though.
Anyway, that's the story of the road. So what happened to you on Morrow Road?
Wait, have you ever done the Morrow Road thing?
I drive down Morrow Road every day to drive.
I know. Did you ever park the car and?
No, because I don't invite that shit in my life. I don't.
I know.
I've had so much negative. I don't seek that shit out, dude. I don't want anything else. I don't need that. I don't need that in my fucking life.
I don't need it in my life either, but it keeps finding me.
What do I say to my kid? Oh, well, I honked my car on my road. I brought home this ghost for you, sweetie. We can play with the ghost. What?
Dude,
I don't
and
want
that's
that shit.
real, man. Like physical attachment.
Yeah, dude.
That was another thing I wanted to bring up about physical attachment.
Well, let's what happened to you on Morrow Road?
Man, so the first thing.
How old were you?
I was 16 or 17.
All right, and you're 69 now, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Hell yeah, and I'm still.
All right, so you're high school, barely got your license.
I was driving around with a girl. I wasn't allowed to drive yet, and this girl was driving me. She's like, "Hey, you want to go do the Morrow Road thing?"
Oh Jesus!
And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah. But you're like, she's cute.
Dude, she was so hot. I was like, I have to. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Dude, we go to the mall and we park, and she's like, okay, you ready for me to honk? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, don't fucking honk. But out loud, I'm like, fucking honk. Yeah, go ahead, honk. I'll wave my fucking shit out the window too. I was like, oh my man. We were sitting there and she honked 3 times like you're supposed to do. We're waiting. A couple minutes go by, and then she grabs me by the chest. She reaches out and grabs my chest.
And you're like, oh, second base. Finally. Sorry.
I fucking wish, dude. She just goes, what the fuck is that? And I looked over on her side of her driver's side mirror.
She was driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't drive.
You're right. You did say that. I just wasn't paying attention.
There was this
A circle.
Yes.
Was it like a glowing orb, or
It was orange in nature.
it was? Dude, that's like exactly what people report too on that road.
I did not know this until I looked up Mara Road for this podcast.
Oh my god!
I swear to fucking God.
So you had like the OG experience before you read about it, dude.
I swear to
Tell-
God, Pillsbury. I swear to God, dude. I did not know that was a shared experience.
Holy shit! I can't believe
And so
it just gives it authenticity though, because you are.
I had the fucking chills. Like, so you're like, hey, you want to come on my podcast and talk about ghost story stuff? I'm like, yeah, all right. I have a few ghost story type things. Let me look up. And I looked up this Mora Road shit. And when I saw that other people have like, also experienced that, I nearly shat my fucking pants.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
So tell me, did the orb like move around, or was it just like outside? The
It was-
window?
It was moving around in a way where it was, if you took a flashlight and shined it in the trees,
Right.
all the light would like blend around the trees.
Right.
This was one solid object, and it was bright.
Did it like illuminate anything around it?
No,
It did not illuminate anything around it.
no,
So,
it was a solid
and
color.
the car was like totally off. Your keys were out because that's how you do
Yeah.
it. You take the keys out, and there was like obviously like back then we were just getting smartphones too. Like that was like
Yeah, no, we had smartphones.
yeah. Did we have smartphones?
Yeah. Well, at the time I did it. I did.
Well, so it just was like just chilling, and it. That's the craziest thing to me is that like it didn't. Like we were just talking about the flashlight metaphor, right? How like if you shine a flashlight through trees, it's gonna, the trees are gonna block the light. But this wasn't producing any light
No,
at all.
it was a solid, bright circle, and it was coming towards us slowly.
Okay.
And I'm looking at this girl who also, I don't want to fuck, but she was pretty good, and she's like, what do we do? Oh my god. And I was like, drive, bitch. I was like, get out of here. Like, I pushed her knee on the gas pedal. I was like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That is so like I do like you've probably read up on them before. Like that's like a spirit orb. Like that's what people say that is.
Yes.
That's like a literally like.
And I didn't understand that theory until later when I started getting more interested in the paranormal, and I started doing like more research on like what ghosts are, how they express themselves, like, and I was like, oh my god, that's exactly what I fucking saw.
Dude, that's pretty cool that you had the same experience, and then you looked it up years later, and you're like, holy shit, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild, man. I always did not do that, so I didn't have, but talk
Yeah,
about,
you were a smart man.
but you sought it out and you found it, right?
That night, I was not seeking it out. That night,
But you
found
made
it.
well, no, I have to like it's kind of in between those two, right? Because obviously
Yes.
the girl you were with was seeking out, and you decided to go with her, so you at least decided to go along for the ride, even though you reluctantly did so. You kind of did seek it out.
Now that I think about it, man, all these ghost stories are also like girl-related stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that's funny?
And I never got laid out of any of them either.
Yeah, dude, because it was just that traumatizing for everybody.
I just think there was some demon in the way.
Yeah, some demon in the way.
I swear to God.
Oh man. One of mine. Let me do. All right, I'm gonna start with my.
Yeah, when's the first time you ever like thought or felt or?
So it was when I was 4 years old, but it wasn't like. You could talk to my mom could verify this. My mom.
Sorry for all that noise.
My mom. Yeah, next time you make noise, say stop. You open like this, and you're like stop, And then that's easier to edit out. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm fucking with you. So my mom actually told me this story, but after she told me it, I did remember it. So at the state park by us, how they do like a Native American, like almost like a festival. Like a bunch of Native American, they must travel and do these things. They show up, they set up legitimate like Native American wigwams and all this stuff, and they show you like how a Native American would live like back in the day.
Okay.
So every year at the state park by us, they do this. Like, I don't know if they still do, but they did it for like 20 plus years. I went to it like every year. So I was young. I was really young. And this wasn't like a trippy experience or anything. I was just a kid. And so obviously there's all these wigwams set up. And you kind of works like they each have like their own station. And you like go and you just talk to these people. They interact with you and they teach you some Native American traditions,
Mm-hmm.
And I went up to this wigwam and I was just talking to this guy. He was an old Indian guy. I'm sorry, Native American, whatever. You guys know what I mean.
They want to.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, I was talking to.
Anyway, I was talking to this old fucking dirty fucking dish rag of a man.
Jesus Christ. It wasn't like that. I was just talking to this guy, whatever, and then my mom comes, gets me, and she was like, who are you talking to? And she's like, what? You can't wander off. Like, I don't know why you wander off just over here in this empty. It was empty shack. Come to find out this empty shack, right? And a different person sees my mom talking to me, and he walks over and he asks, like, did your son see someone in there? And she was like, no, well, it was his imaginary friend. He was like, no, like, that guy just died like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And then he said to my mom, like, no, when children are that age, they can still see the dead after they passed. And then he's like, when they grow older, they lose it, which is like pretty streamlined across all cultures. But that wasn't like a ghost encounter for me. Like, to me,
was that the first time you ever
No, because back then I didn't realize I was talking to a ghost. I didn't realize this until my mom brought it up to me, dude. Like, I forgot about this. I didn't even remember it until she brought it up. Yeah, like, I remember going to that festival a bunch because my mom took me like every year to go to it. But
and what did that do to you? Like, did that change anything?
No. Well, after I found out,
yeah.
Honestly, like, it wasn't like my memory of it. It was just like I was talking to a person like you, like right next to me. Like, it wasn't a weird interaction. It wasn't nothing like paranormal. It was just like the Indian guy doing his job or whatever I don't know why they did that, but it was cool they did. He was just doing like there'd be one guy with the pelts and one guy with the smoke stones, one guy doing the stitching,
right?
One guy, like, each one they were showing like a different one guy building the wigwams, all these different stations, and like to me it was just another station. But thinking back on it, it's weird, like having an adult being like, yeah, definitely no fucking there, like, and you're like, well, dude, but in my memory, it's not like that at all, bro. It's just like I'm talking to a normal person, and I do remember it very clearly, cause like, but yeah, so it did nothing. It did nothing to me. I mean, by the time I found out, I firmly believe in this shit. I just don't want proof of it. So it didn't really affect me in that regard, because you know what? I look at my kid, she's about to turn 3 here. She'll be 3 next month.
Yeah, awesome kid. Shouts out. What's cool, fool? Awesome kid.
I'm gonna play this shit at your graduation on the whip. No. But sometimes, dude, she'd be interacting with things that are obviously not there, and it seems like a little more than like imaginary play to me. And I think all parents kind of see this shit, but like, parents are so busy, like, you look at your kid doing something in the corner and then you're back to fucking doing the dishes, you know? So like, we don't really pay much attention to it. I just like notice it because I'm like into this shit. Like, they be times, the most fucked up ones, sometimes they say real shit, and then I'm gonna tell this and then you're gonna get on with your next story.
Well, wait, alright, sorry about that. I had to pee, so I can swear?
Yeah, bro, how many? Yes, you can swear it's fuck this shit. You can say whatever you want.
I had to piss so fucking bad. I'm so sorry. But anyway, I don't remember what the fuck we were last talking
Oh,
about.
I was gonna say we were talking about how like kids, like my experience and how kids
Oh,
see
right.
shit. So what my daughter said to me one time. So this was like 6 months after my wife died, and like I keep my shit together very well in front of my kid, but like I was having like a little bit of moment. There were some tears in my eyes and shit, and she looks at me, and the kid hasn't even like said the word mom for months because obviously mom ain't around, and she was like, "Mom loves you." I swear to God, dude. She said that to me, and I was like, we're going to bed. Like,
Dude.
I swear to God, dude. I'm not even making that up. Like,
No, I don't think
she
that
literally
you are.
was like, out of nowhere, I was changing her diaper or something, and she was like, "Mom loves you," and I'm like, "What? Like, why the fuck?" Are you
And
saying that?
I met her, and she's so little, like she don't know.
No, she imagine like pretty much a year less than that.
Yeah.
She was way younger than like her language was not like together like it is now, like
Yeah.
to that level, you know. I was just like, what the, like
She was so little that like for her brain to come up with that, like that wasn't like an intentional thought. That was like,
well, that's where I'm at because we were just changing. We weren't talking about mom.
right.
Like, obviously, I'm not gonna like keep the fact of her mom out of her life, but
Right.
I'm also like, even as time goes by, like she was young when it happened. She don't fucking remember. She does not remember, and that's tragic. Yes, but yeah, she doesn't like remember her mom because she was so young. When
She
it
was so
happened.
little.
Yeah, she was so little. Like she doesn't remember. So for her to say that was like very strange to me.
Yeah, that's super fucking strange, actually.
Yeah, dude. But what's the next story you want to lay down?
Well, I mean, I have plenty of stories, but I also have another theory of the stone tape theory. If negative shit goes down in this room right now, you could feel it 50 years later.
Yeah, and I have a good story about that too.
So, like, that's why if sometimes you can walk into a room and it feels weird and you don't know. I generally believe this to be true because, but my other theory is like apparitions, like people who see full body ghosts,
Or like catch a picture of one or whatever.
yeah. And what I think a lot of that is have you ever heard of this? So it's like, okay, so we live in one dimension.
Just go
Pickleberry.
Just go with Aaron. You know,
Aaron.
I'm done. This is just gonna be too hard to maintain.
Aaron got too hard during this podcast.
Yeah, catch you at the next one.
Alright, so, yeah, cat's out of the bag. Pillsbury dough. Fuck. So, like, that's what it was. Aaron, Pillsbury. So, like, I'm so sorry for sabotaging your podcast. I didn't mean to.
You're not Sap, dude. This was great. And to be honest, it's not really. I'm not trying to make money out of this. Like, this is just a hobby. So
Fuck money. Alright, so
fuck money, get bitches.
So let's say right now, between me and you, we're sitting here smoking weed and doing a podcast, right? Now, 50 years from now, someone can still be in this room, and then out of nowhere, me and you smoking weed doing this podcast will just like pop into their
So
world.
like a memory of the action appears visual.
Well, not exactly. It's more like we live in different dimensions, right? So, like, right now, we're in this dimension. But there's 100 billion trillion different dimensions.
Oh, you're
out
saying like things people see, like these apparitions, could be like just some random happening from another dimension?
Yeah, like a skip of a record. So, like, let's say, like, me and you were in, like, a weird, like, haunted bar. And they're like, oh, yeah, this bar is haunted. Sometimes you'll see the old cowboy that used to walk around here. Well, if me and you saw the old, weird, fucking haunted cowboy, he's not actually a ghost. It's just for some reason in this certain spot. It's like a weird skip of memory.
Right.
And for some reason in that specific spot, it just happens more like usual than fucking usual. You know what I mean? So like,
Huh.
yeah.
No, different theories like along those lines, but the way you're explaining that to me makes it really interesting. Like maybe if you're like on a certain ley line or something in the earth, like the fucking, you have a better chance of seeing an apparition, which is not really there. It's more like a skip in a record track, you know?
Yeah, and like it's not even necessarily like a bad thing. Like I want to like leave the people listening to this, if there is any left, just like ghosts aren't entirely a bad. I don't like if you just like see like a little kid in the corner of your room, and you're like, nah, that's not a real person. That's just time skipping, and that little kid was just having a good moment.
It's a glitch in the matrix, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have an experience like that, or all your experiences like down more of the other things we've been talking about?
I never saw a ghost like that, but I do have weird shit. I was living in Claremont, Detroit, Michigan. Shout out!
Oh yeah, dude, Jesus Christ. Wait, Claremont was the really ghetto. That's where people got their cars stolen all the time.
Yeah, man, my car got stolen all the time.
Yo, it was your car. Dude, that makes it so fucking crazy.
My car got stolen all the fucking time up and down that block, dude.
Jesus, do you like get like a payout every time, or
No!
what? Then what? You got nothing? Like they stole?
Yes, I got nothing.
But your insurance didn't cover fucking
No!
car theft?
No!
Wow.
No. They're like, you're dumb, you're living in the hood, and you don't need to, and this is why your shit got janked.
Oh
I'm like, oh my god, you're right.
Alright, Claremont was a weird. That place probably was haunted.
Dude, oh my god, I can tell you
That house was
100
haunted.
times, million times over how that house was haunted. Everyone that lived in that house has a weird story
Yeah,
about
dude.
that house.
I know someone else in that house also told me that too.
No, like, we all got fucked with. Like, that whole house was so fucked. It was bad, dude.
What's your most like standout experience there?
Okay, so one night I shared a bed with a person, and they were at work, and while they were at work, I was laying in bed. I was holding a sketchbook above my torso, and I was sketching my legs and the doorway in front of me. I was just like doing
That
like
sounds like the most laziest sketching you could ever do. It's
Yeah.
cool, though. That's cool. I respect it.
yeah, I was just like sketching what was in front of me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But like my weird sense of humor at the end of the doorway, I like drew these people who were like made out of dots, and their heads were like triangular, right?
Okay.
I drew two of them, and I don't know why. Like I was just like killing time. I don't know. I'm just dicking around drawing.
Right. Right.
So I closed the sketchbook. I put it on my desk, and I put it under my laptop. Whatever. I go to bed, and I went to bed so drunk. I was so fucked up on whiskey back then.
Yeah, everybody was.
Yeah,
The good old days.
I went to bed so fucking drunk, dude. I mean, I woke up and my dick was out. I'm like, why my dick out? I don't know. I have no idea. I wake up, and I'm all hungover, and I walk outside. We couldn't smoke in this house, which was hilarious. And I walk outside. My partner at the time was outside smoking a cigarette. So I sit down with him, and I'm like, what's got you all twisted up, you know? And they're like, dude, last night I came home from work. I went to bed next to you. I had the gnarliest nightmare. And I'm like, why? What happened? And they're like, I don't know. Like, I woke up out of nowhere, and I couldn't breathe or speak or anything, and I was trying to roll over and look at you, but you were floating a foot above the bed, and you were all contorted, and the only thing I could do was work my neck down this way to look down the doorway, and there was these two people who looked like they were made out of television static, and their heads were all pointy, and they were telling me to kill myself. Yes, dude. And I looked at her and I said, "Give me 1 minute." And I ran upstairs and I grabbed my sketchbook and I came down and I opened it and I'm like, "Something like this? Are you fucking with me? Did you see my sketchbook and you're fucking with me? Is that what we're doing right now?" I was pissed. I was like, and then they started crying. They were so scared they started crying.
Holy shit.
And they're like, "I cannot fucking sleep in this house one more night. That was so fucked up. I have to go." And, yeah, I split with them. And 2 days later, they had to go. They left. They're like, "I cannot stay in this house. That is too weird. That is too fucking fucked up. I don't like where this is going."
See, something like that seems more like an evil entity. Like, that doesn't, like, fit into the same categories of, like, ghosts that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I know, and, like,
That's a totally separate... That seems like something extreme, like a... Like a not a ghost. Like, that's like a demon. Like, that's like that's like a very negative spiritual entity. That is a very negative spiritual entity. That's a whole different thing. And I hope, even if you're dumb, you're smart enough to know you should never go and seek that kind of shit out. Because that's some, probably 100%, there was probably very bad things that happened in that house that led that as a gateway for some, to me, like, you tell that story and I'm thinking, like, not, like,
no.
Like, that kind of entity has nothing to do with humans or what humans become after they die, or humans jumping across timelines, or humans getting into a fight in a bar. Like, that is just something completely different. You sketched this thing, dreamt about, and you guys did not talk about this before.
No, and you know what my theory is?
What?
I think something influenced me.
Something influenced you to draw that?
Yeah.
Was it like, when you were drawing that, did you feel a certain way?
No, I felt normal. I was just like...
normal? You just feel like... What do you feel like it was... If you were influenced, do you think it was to help or harm yourself? Do you think it was to show you it was there so you would know, or do you think it was
was just sketching as if to practice to draw. What I drew was so specific.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, you didn't have any... It was just like a normal sketch session.
Yeah, I think something influenced me to... And that house was full of demons, dude. Like, that house was...
Yeah.
That was a really
I
bad
never
house.
liked staying there. I only stayed there like twice, and I was like, man, no. That house had some bad juju in it.
Yeah.
And these triangle men sound like bad juju. They were, so what, it was like non-inverted triangle, like a normal triangle on top. Do you still have this sketch?
No, I took that sketchbook and I closed it and I buried it in the backyard.
That's how much it freaked you out?
Yeah, I buried it in the backyard and I lit that spot on fire. I did a bonfire on top of it. I was like, dude, fuck this book forever.
No, so that's how much it disturbed you at the time.
Yeah, dude, it fucked me up.
That speaks volumes, man. That's pretty fucking... That's twisted, man. I don't know. Stay away from the triangle people, folks. They don't sound like fun.
No, dude, and like, I'm a big believer.
Do you remember how many triangle people you sketched in the doorway?
It was just 2.
Just 2, okay.
Yeah, and she was like, I woke up and these 2 people were at the foot of our bed.
Oh boy.
And she said that they looked like they were made out of old school television stand.
See, that's the kind of shit that makes me want to believe in God. Like,
that's why I'm so conflicted. I'm like, how come I can't believe in this thing of people? Like, I have these, I don't know, man. Like, I see abnormal shit.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Were you in a negative state of mind in that period of your life? Or like...
In that house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so negative.
Because I kind of have a theory, like, sometimes, like, those negative, we're talking about these negative, like, non-human entities. I kind of have a theory that sometimes these these entities are kind of like attracted to like states of prolonged like
Attracted to
negativity.
negative people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I mean, like, and that doesn't mean you're like necessarily overall a negative person, but if you're going through like a toxic period in your life,
Yeah.
and like your emotions, your inner states like more volatile, I believe that is these people who have. I believe it's these people that have these experiences. Like, what about the person at the time? Was she going through a negative? Like any type
Yeah,
of,
well, I didn't know that they were a schizophrenic.
She was schizophrenic.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Is there any way? But she had the dream. Is there any way she could have seen your sketchbook and then had that conversation with you?
I've thought about that before, but like, there's no way. Like, I drew that shit and I tucked it in the pile. At that time, I was
Was she even the type of person that would just like randomly pick up one of your sketchbooks and look
No.
going through it?
no, and that's the thing. No, like the way that they reacted to me saying that, just instant tears and just
Yeah.
absolute fear.
Authenticity.
I was just like, wow, yeah, something weird's going on.
Right, and that wasn't your only experience there
No.
either. We'll have to do a whole episode on that house. I'm gonna share. That's crazy shit, by the way.
It's super.
I could talk about that for hours. Like the concept of even like the details, really. Like, I wish you still had that sketchbook. I would have made it the
I burned it.
I would have made it the thumbnail for this video.
I burned it. I can recreate it.
No, I kind of think we should keep that shit. I if you burned it, it meant that much for you. Let's keep that. Never draw that again. Let's not do that again.
This episode ended up being too long, so we cut it into 2 different parts. Shout out to Dylan for doing the artwork for the podcast. Have a nice night.